Yes, sir.
All right. Hello, everyone. It's your man, Darren L. Palmer, Chief Book Officer with Self-Published in 30 Days. Excited to be with you today for another episode of Market Leader Live. Now, you know what we do on this particular show. If you are not about that life, if you don't understand, as my special guest, Mr. Patrick Jackson talks about, it's game time, baby. If you are not ready for the market leader, then you need to turn off this episode because you're going to get some information that's going to change your life. So if you don't mind, Mr. Jackson, say hello to the people and share a little bit about yourself if you don't mind.
Hello, everyone. This is Patrick Jackson. Nickname is Action Jackson. So I'm ready to make this thing happen. I'm an East Texas kid growing up in Tyler, Texas, and I went to Stephen F. Austin. I live here in the DFW Metroplex area. Oh yeah, Action Jacks. But I'm just excited to be a part of this program. Just looking forward to it. We're gonna make it happen. It's cameras, lights, camera, action. That's what we're getting ready to do. Make this thing happen. Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you, Action Jackson, for coming on today. And speaking of action, one reason that I definitely wanted to have you on the show is because, for your line of work, you have been in the game for a minute, and I really want to talk about the importance of how you've been able to reinvent yourself, or let's just put it this way, been able to stay relevant through the changing times in a different economy. So I know you dealt with the 07, 08. I know you dealt with some times even before that or whatnot. So if you don't mind, share with us what has been some of the things that allow for you to be able to continue to thrive where some didn't even survive during the different economic switches and changes that you've been able to encounter.
Well, that's a good question, Darren. I think for me, it's being able to stay open-minded enough and stay humble enough to learn, to keep my eyes open and my ears open to seeing what's happening with the marketplace. I mean, it doesn't take much to use the common sense that our good Lord gave us to it's all around us. I mean, there's a thing about technology and our cell phones. We could be stuck to our cell phones all day long. But I also heard someone say, a wise man say, that the old pioneers would go outside and just take in the atmosphere and the environment. And the birds tell you things. The cars, the roar of the wheels, the smell of the grass, all those things tell you things. And you just have to be open enough to listen and take heed. And so for me, I was playing football at one time, and I started an insurance career. And I would, I was good at shaking hands, kissing babies. You want to say networking and introducing myself, never meeting a stranger. And then it so happened to, back in 2009, I introduced a whole lot of people to a marketing plan, and I invited them to come out to a meeting. And then no one showed. And my cousin came in from Qatar, and he met me over at a local restaurant, and I was livid. I'm inviting a lot of people, and this made the transition for me to networking, shaking hands, kissing babies, so to speak, to getting online. Was he showed me his business online, and from that point forward, he said, "Listen, if you can invite 1,000 people, if no one ever show up, go back home and look at your online dashboard and see people joining your business or looking at your business." That changed my whole paradigm shift. So just staying in the know and keeping an open mind and keeping my eyes open and ears open and listening to you guys like yourself and other guys, young people, I say young men, young women, and staying in the game, staying relevant, staying in the game.
Well, Mr. Jackson, that's something that you just brought up that I think that all of us can learn from, because I like to call it one of the best pies you can ever have. It'll help you in business and life, and it's called that humble pie. When you get that piece of humble pie, whatnot, I think a young man by the name Jerome Cobra. He's saying what's up. He's showing some love right now. You might know that guy right there, yeah. Yes, sir. So, but when you look at that being humble, I think no matter if you are a baby boomer, whether you're Gen X, if you're a millennial, the people that I see that are able to continue to pivot or to make the necessary moves and make the right relationships or whatnot, which is the key currency is relationships, is that they're able to be humble and know that I don't know it all and be willing to learn. I can see some millennials who saying, well, I don't want to learn or whatnot, and I can learn from somebody like you, Mr. Jackson or whatnot. And some people are not willing to learn. And then you can have someone who, well, I've been in business for so many years, but not willing to do necessary things to stay open. So I just want to just dive into that a little bit more, if you don't mind. What do you feel like, attributed to you being humble to be willing to learn that? Because it's a lot of other people, like you said, didn't even show up to the meeting. What would you say, man, I've been doing it this way, or this is how it goes. This is the only way to do business. I tell you what, let's change that question up. How important is it for all of us to have the right paradigm shift? That's the best question right there, because you brought that up, and I know a lot about that from my own life. So if you don't mind, let's talk about the paradigm shift in the positive light.
Right. Well, you have to, in order to stay relevant, especially with this fast-paced world that we live in with technology, it's a global marketplace. You have to have a mindset of I'm focused. I got the gates, I'm locked in and focused, but also let me at least keep an ear open for what's going on around me. I have to have a 360-degree outlook on things, because the marketplace is moving so fast. Platforms are being created every day by brilliant people, not the age-old people that's been seniors in the marketplace and know traditional business, but also like my daughter's 15 years old, and I ask her all the time, what's the latest things going on? What's the latest colors? What's the latest shoes? Because that was at one time I was creating little websites on some of the latest things that those kids was listening to and doing. And so I have to make sure that I'm relevant in those paradigm shift, not get so locked in to where it's my way and no, you guys, I discount what they're doing. So that paradigm shift is big. At least, stay locked in, stay focused, but be able to move on the dime, be able to move, boom, and get out. You still can do your thing. But again, the marketplace and systems and technology has allowed it for us to be able to transition, to be able to move right there with it, and still be in your space, still be market leaders in your space, but be able to. You got your hand in this. You mentioned pies, humble pie. My pastor, he said one time, a lot of times we get so wrapped up of wanting to have the pie. He said, what you want to do is if someone has a banana pie, get you a slice. Get you a slice of different pies. And at the end of the day, when you look at it, you have your pie, but you got different slices of pie. And so that's the deal for me, man, is making sure I stay open enough and humble enough to be able to know those paradigm shifts are around me and take advantage of it.
And you know what, though, when you share that, Mr. Jackson, those are definitely some gems and knowledge or whatnot. Hannah Wallace is loving it. My girl Hannah is loving it. And I want us to just, look at this, because my experience, I had someone at a Sunday school group who reached out and said, we need more men that could come in and sub at our local schools. They're missing a lot of men. So it would be good to have positive role models. So certain groups, certain of the men we signed up went in. But I was overwhelmed to look at the shortage of men, for one thing. But most importantly, I was like you. I got to know with those kids, and they taught me so much about what was the latest technology, what was the things that's going on. And I was able to implement it. I call myself going in and to try to be a blessing. But I ended up getting blessed because it was things that I didn't have no clue of, that they was teaching me, hey, this is how you do it, Mr. Palmer, and this is the new app for this. And then it was teaching me certain things to invest in, because I was looking at that most of the kids at that particular time have data on their phones, but they were able to use certain kind of apps that allow for them to still make phone calls and things like that. And I started saying, oh, that's a trend. So they didn't really know. They were just playing with the technology. I said, wait a minute, this is the wave right here. So I was able to capitalize on that as well. So for those who are listening as market leaders or whatnot, I love what Mr. Jackson shared and said, hey, stay locked in, stay focused, being willing to pivot. Even the platform that I'm using here right now, yes, we use Zoom, but I was able to keep my ear open and find out about StreamYard and being able to allocate at one time instead of where we used to have to hit each platform we were on. Now we can simultaneously stream everything at one time. And now that has allowed for some doors to open because we're maximizing that technology or whatnot in another way or whatnot. So, with that being said too, I want you to talk about this because somebody invited you to that event. And I see that you shared earlier. I know people think it's cliche, but your network is your net worth. Let's talk about how relationships can allow for you to be recession proof. That's what I want us to talk about, because no matter what ad you got, no matter how fantastic you think your services are, one right relationship or the right group of people can allow for you to be able to weather any storm. Can you talk to us how you've been able to utilize that? Your network is your net worth, Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, yes, sir. That network. At the end of the day, of all the products or services that you're a part of, it comes down to it's a people business. And I know systems are making it easier for you to get away from people. You can have systems and you don't even have to even talk to anyone. But if you're doing it like that, your network, you have to be able to know how to communicate with people. And the only way you're doing that is by networking. If it's a nonprofit or a church realm of the deal, it's fellowshipping. So you have to be able to know how to knowing what someone is thinking in a sense, or what someone is needing is in the network of having resources to reach out to in order to help the next person or to help yourself. So, I mean, I always say, sometimes I tell people, they say, man, I need to be rich. I said, you're already rich. The money will follow. I said, no, chasing money. You look at in Psalms 23, surely goodness and mercy will follow thee. That type of thing. So it's that net worth is your network is the people that pour into you, the people that gives you life and inspiration. You can't put a price tag on that. Now, when you go out and put your products together, put your services together, then you start monetizing. That's not from you. That's from God and that network. So, it's in the connections. Me and you are connected 2 and 3, 4 different levels. And that's all because of our network. So, you gotta have it. You gotta have
it. And what you just said that was phenomenal about that was the importance of understanding that I like the old Zig Ziglar quote. I know you can understand. I know you kind of young, wet behind the ears, breath smell like Similac odor. I'm gonna have to pull your coat a little bit today. But the old quote that if you help enough people get what they want in life, you'll get everything that you want in life. And I've seen that so much, and I think that aligns with what you were sharing. But when you're pouring into people and you're being poured into, and it's the law of reciprocity kicks in, and everybody is gleaning from one another or whatnot. And, it's not one person just trying to extract everything and suck everybody dry. Then all of a sudden you just have, before I got on the call with you, I just had somebody that did a deal with probably 3 years ago. I almost didn't pick up the phone because I was getting prepared for our interview. And I hit the call and boom, there was somebody who ready to do a deal because they heard from me from a guy from 3 years ago. I talked to him here and there, but I hadn't even talked to him in some years. And so it's just, but when you're pouring into people and serving and seeing how you can make their life better, then all of a sudden it's something like this that happens before we're on here right now. Like I'm able to be connected to you, and I've been able to see the things that you've been able to do afar and learn and glean, even though I hadn't even, actually was able to meet you yet, but didn't know that we was connected on so many levels. And so that's how God does things. And I just want those who are listening, don't allow for people to make you think that you're losing by showing love. If you serve people, you can't lose sowing into good ground. I want you to understand that. I'm gonna speak a little Christianese on y'all right now. You can't lose sowing into good ground, and if you faith over a few things, he'll make you ruler over many. And so when you look at relationships, you can't be his blessings. And that's what I think what Mr. Jackson is sharing. Do you agree with that, Mr. Jackson, on the importance of that?
Oh yeah, you know, you talking about Christianese. You know the pioneers say you can't be God given, no matter how you try, baby. But you got to get hyped up.
Come on in here, Doc. Come on in here.
I'm trying to calm down. I got the uniform on, but I sure will get going.
It's game time. It's game time, Mr. Jackson. It's game time.
I'm trying to be professional. My wife is across the way. Be professional with everything. She know action will get going, man. Oh, we.
Yes, sir.
You got to have.
But when you know what you know.
You got to have a passion about. Man, it's on. You about to get. It's on, one life to live, man. This ain't no dress rehearsal. This ain't no practice. This is game. Every day, God give you that breath to get up in the morning. You got to go get it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would show you I got my plaque on the wall. It's that lion and the gazelle in the jungle. You know that one.
Oh yeah.
That's every day. Every day you got to be. When the sun comes up, you got to be running.
And you know what? On that note, what you just shared there, Mr. Jackson, I shared this with my daughter today. I was carrying my oldest daughter to volleyball practice. She looked at a shopping center and she noticed that a big retailer here local was going out of business. And then before you know it, I had that lion and gazelle moment on her like she was watching a YouTube video in the vehicle. I said, this is what I'm talking about right here. Quote unquote secure. Let them tell it a year or two ago. But if you take your eye off the prize, if you don't understand that you need to have some service, some sales, you need to build relationships, you need to change with the times. Before you know it, you will be a blockbuster. Before you know it, you will find yourself not being prepared, having to seek employment somewhere in a time during a pandemic when a lot of people they're not even hiring. So it's like what you said, when we got to get out of our mind of that lackadaisical mindset of, it's all good. It don't matter if I waste another day. It don't matter if I get better today. You know, I'm just going to just hope that I can do as less as possible, get paid as much as possible, and stay here until the Lord call me home. That's some people's mentality. And we already know, for those who don't know, out of a good book that we know about, the best business book ever, we seen what happened when a person gave some tokens or whatnot to some people, and some of them had 10, one had 10, one had 5, one had 1, and how he looked at the situation of them not doing anything with it. You know, even if you could have put it to the bank or whatnot and draw some interest of it, do something. That's what Mr. Jackson is trying to tell us right now. Do something.
Do something. Do something and be somebody. You know, they say, yes, we like to do things, but we're not human doings, we are human beings. And that means you got to become. You got to use your mind at night and thinking and envisioning and taking in those gifts God gave us, man. He gave us these gifts. And I always say, get clear, get that clarity in mind. Sit back and just breathe and think about yourself and where you in your place on this planet. And you got it's right here. It's right. You got it right here. If you can't figure it out, that's where your network come in. Get your network involved. They talk to you. I'm gonna tell you something, Darren. You know how you can have different gifts. I sent out a text to about 15 of my closest friends and family. Give me 3 things I'm good at. They sent back, and I started writing down each one what they was talking about, and it formulated a little plan I saw that I said, confirmation. I said, so I'm gonna put together a business in this field. I'm gonna put together a business. So each field that they showed where my gifts was located, I was putting together online businesses in each one. So it was just confirmation. Even though I've been in the game 25 plus years, you still have to sharpen the saw.
Wow, wow. And you know what? For those whatnot, let's just use it on the business sense for those who are listening to this. It's kind of a beta testing or being able to do a company, be able to do a self-assessment, self-assess yourself. Or I just did this not too long ago with our company of doing an inspection on the company, looking at areas where you're strong at, you're weak at, but also being able to take constructive criticism. Everybody is not hating on you, but there are some things that people can see in you that you don't see in you. You have to have that slice of humble pie again and know that you can have some blinders or whatnot. And let's look again at whatnot in one of these great business books that we talked about, a young man by the name of Moses, who had to take a slice of that humble pie and listen to his father-in-law, Jethro, on his leadership style. Even though he had some great accomplishments, he was seeing that he was wearing himself thin. And this is what we get for those who are market leaders and business owners, the importance and the power of partnership and delegation. And you must have the right culture and the right team. So the job that he was trying to do, wearing himself ragged or whatnot, by having some wise counsel that say, wait a minute, what are you doing? Wait a minute, let's break that up. Let's delegate that to the right teams, allow for them to be a part of it. And teamwork makes the dream work. I wish I had a praying church right now, but at the same time, we're gonna keep this for Market Leader Live right now. We're gonna put this for Market Leader Live. So let's talk about that too, Mr. Jackson, on the power of partnership. Whether you're I think in the nonprofit realm, especially with churches, I think that is one of the biggest. I think that's the gulf that could take it to the next level. Why you see so many churches on every corner, where if you won't let me run the choir the way I want to run the choir, if I'm not able to do what I want to do, I'm just going to go start another church, or another denomination, or non-denomination. So it's also for business owners where you don't want to listen to wise counsel. So you see so many businesses going out because you brought up earlier, do what you know to do, but at the same time, listen to others and take that feedback. You created different businesses online off the feedback of somebody else that you didn't even come up with that idea, or it confirmed something you thought, but you wasn't for sure, but it assured you that you was in good hands like Allstate and you could make the next move. So if you don't mind, share with those who are listening the importance, if they want to scale, the importance of the law of partnership.
You know, one of the things that we have to, you mentioned about people and network and serving. When you come from a place of a good heart and serving, even though you are a leader, you still understand that in order to be a great leader and having service in place, you have to have a mindset of knowing that we're going to get to our destination, but have a mindset of knowing that I don't care who gets the credit. So a lot of times leaders sometimes fight each other to be in the lead. No, we got to get the work done. Let's get the work done. The credit, when the credit come, the credit gonna come. We want the results. People gonna pat you on the back and all that. They still ain't gonna know the whole story. They still ain't gonna know why they sleeping. We still up here trying to figure things out. So I've always tried to align myself and venture with people. I'm a marketer, but I'm in the affiliate side of the game. I've always been a connector. So I can recommend products, I can recommend services, I can recommend people, the network. However, I'm secure enough in my leadership abilities, I'm secure enough in all of that to know that if this person is an expert in this field or he's in this space, I'm partnering with this guy. We're going for we want to win. When he wins, I win. When I win, he wins. But the credit, let's go do the work. Let's do the process. Let's go through the service, the process. And when we look up, we're at the finish line and everybody is clapping their hands. We got to win. That's it. That's what it's about.
Game time. Game time. And see, that right there is the key to success, what you just shared, whatnot. You know, the offensive lineman is going to get the same kind of ring that Patrick Mahomes got at the same time or whatnot. Now, he might not get the contract that Patrick got. There's a lot of other people didn't get that contract either. But at the same time, when it comes to, they still consider Super Bowl, they still consider world champions, regardless what anybody else think. all that teamwork, who filled in when he was hurt a little bit during the season. It don't matter that you just played a few quarters or a couple games, or weeks or whatnot. It don't matter that you didn't even get the contract that he got. Forever in history, you will go down as a world champion, a Super Bowl champion, just like that. The ring, put a ring on it. That's what Mr. Jackson said.
Put a ring on it, baby. Yes, sir. Ring on it. But that's the deal. And I talk to leaders all the time about, service. Service is what make great leaders. Service. And for guys like, I have a saying about, and I listened to a guy named Joe Madison. I know I'm putting him out there, but older gentleman. And he says about the thing about passing the torch. He said, we need to change that to lighting the torch. He said, because if I pass I may be a couple of days older than you, Mr. Palmer. So I'm going to say this. If I pass my torch to Mr. Palmer, he's younger than me. He can take off and go. He got more energy. He can go. When he got my torch, he gone. I'm left in the dark. Because he gone. I gave him the charge. I passed my torch to him. Pass the baton. Your baton runner gone. Torch gone. But if I light his torch, he can take off and go. I say, man, tell me what you see up there. Tell me what you're doing. He gone. But I still have my torch that I can light the little area that I'm in. So it's our job is to continue to light as many torches as we can. Only time we pass our torch away is when the good Lord come down and extinguish it and say, you have done enough, my faithful servant, baby. You know what I'm saying? But lighting the torch, man. So leaders and as being in joint ventures and all that, we lighting torches, man. We setting up joint ventures all over the world, lighting torches, man.
Mm-hmm. Man, hey, I know you gave credit to Joe, but that was brilliant right there. Those are words to live. But that's why you get on Market Leader Live. See, that's what you do. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Jackson came, and they call him Action Jackson for a reason, because lighting the torch, like you said, and for passing it. But don't let your light go out. You are still here to shine, regardless what your age is. And right here, I'm just going to share this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
A young lady was just in his office. 84 years old, a part of a motorcycle church, still ride a motorcycle. She's been a widow before. She's doing ministry. She came into the office, just heard about something at one of the grandkids, a great grandkids game, or somebody game she was at, and she met somebody, came in with some sheets of paper, whatnot, not even typed up. Now this woman is an author. She riding a motorcycle, got a picture of her on the motorcycle, whatnot. And that's what Mr. Jackson is sharing with us right there. I just wanted to just use that as an example, whatnot, of what it is. She has lit so many torches for so many people throughout the years and the different careers, but she's still been able to find her way to reinvent herself and say, you know what, I still got a life to live. She still is one person that's, I think, like in a convalescent or a nursing home right now, is not going to be able to get out because of the COVID situation at the time of this recording. And so they're setting up something with the local little biker church to ride the motorcycles around the nursing home for the person's birthday or whatnot. So he can't get out of whatnot to do nothing right now, but at the same time, so he can know that they thinking about him. So when we look at this, it don't mean that you have to be owning a Fortune 500 company to make a difference or to make a change, or you have to have a congregation of 50,000 people to make a change or whatnot, or be a world champion in the NFL or NBA. You can make a difference wherever you are, locally or globally. You can be a change agent. And, before we get out of here, Mr. Jackson, I want you to please share, because I know I don't want people to have to repent on Sunday because they start saying a few choice words because I didn't give them your contact information, how they can connect with you and some of the things that you brought up with courses. But could you please share your website information or how they can get a hold of you or learn more about the things that you provide?
Yes. I am the proud owner of a marketing company. It's Action Online Marketing, LLC. But my blog site is iamactionjackson.com. And you can reach me, sign up with that. As I have a newsletter come out once a month, as well as I blog post almost every other week. But then my phone number, I don't mind giving my number. It's 972-836-8466. I'm on all the social media platforms. They go by the name of The Action Online. If it's on Twitter, The Action Online. And I have different strategy calls and all of that. So I try to be very visible and just throw out Action Jackson. Somebody will ring the bell. And it's and I always say it's a lot of Jacksons that's doing things. I'm a big proponent of my last name, and so it's not like I hold the rights to that name, of course. But hey, you just throw Patrick Action Jackson or whatever. The guy with the beard is gonna come on and make something happen for you. Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Well, I just want to tell you, thank you, tell your wife and your family, thank you for allowing us to bar their husband, their daddy for a little bit of whatnot today. But I know our audience has truly been blessed. I know I have. I'm speaking for them because I know I got my notes down on some of the things that I picked up in this. And I just want to tell you, thank you so much for taking time out your schedule. You're a man of your word. It's a lot of things that you got on your plate. But I just want the market leaders to understand this. You heard him share this. He just didn't regurgitate something that he read out of a book. He's living it. You see the ring. You see the accomplishments. He didn't have to come out and do this for us today. Nobody didn't write him $1 million check to show up for this. But I just want you to understand that when you're touching lives like that and when you're about that life, and like he said, when it's game time, didn't mean he didn't have situations. Doesn't mean that he don't have to put out fires after this. But when you are really about that life, this is what it is. It's like EA Sports. It's in the game. And that's what you got to understand if you're going to be a market leader. It's in the game of whatnot, this life of service and doing the things that you do. So I just want to tell you again, sir, God bless you. And I thank God for you, man, and looking forward to what we're going to be able to do with this covenant relationship.
And I want to say this, too. I appreciate your platform. I appreciate all that you're doing. My hat's off to you because, like you're saying, as market leaders and in the game, have the street saying of game recognizes game. We all know that in this business as entrepreneurs, guys are putting their heartstrings on the line 24/7. They're wearing hats, different hats. Got to take off this hat, put on another hat. Got to serve their family. Got to do all of this. And the dollar, when it comes, is good. It's a blessing. But even when there's no ceiling, but there's no floor. The thing that we hold our hat on is the love of the game and the service and who we are trying to become on a daily basis. So again, I appreciate you and your platform and what you are doing. I just continue to say God bless and keep striving to grow and be bigger, become better and more impactful.
Man, I really take that, man. I really appreciate those words of wisdom. And for those who listen, implement that in your life. I'm taking it to heart. What the man Action Jackson has just shared with me, I'm going to actually make sure that I implement what he shared in my own life. And I want you all to do the same. But remember, if you won't change, be the change. Until next time, be blessed and be great.
Yes, sir.